On Thanksgiving, I saw Thanksgiving, and I'm very thankful for such a good, old-fashioned slasher film. Hello everyone, welcome to my review of the new slasher film called Thanksgiving. And it is the new film directed by horror director Eli Roth. After an absence of like 5 years I believe, Eli Roth returned to the big screen with a slasher film. This is the first time he does 100% slasher film, and Eli Roth always, as he said, wanted to do a slasher film. And now he finally got to make the slasher film he always wanted to make, and that is apparently Thanksgiving. And it is a holiday based slasher film, a bit like Halloween that's taking place on the holiday of Halloween. Thanksgiving is obviously taking place on the holiday of Thanksgiving. And this movie stars Patrick Dempsey, Gina Gershon, Rick Hoffman and Nell Verlake. And like I said, the movie takes place on Thanksgiving, basically on a Black Friday. The movie starts on a Black Friday because one of the characters is actually the owner of a store. He's also the father of our main character, Jessica. And he decided to open his store on the Thanksgiving night. He wants to be the first store to open for Black Friday. And there's already a crazy crowd waiting at the doors. And then our group of main characters enter the store earlier than the crowd. So the crowd gets angry and chaos breaks loose. And in that chaos, certain characters dies. That's the opening scene of the movie. A very chaotic opening scene actually. And then the movie really kicks off 1 year after this tragic event. A killer pops up and he's really targeting all the characters that has something to do with the events on that tragic night. That's Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is actually a whodunit slasher film. As I see it, there are actually two kinds of slasher films. You have the slasher films in which the identity of the killer is already known or absolutely of no importance. Those slasher films are all about survival and escaping the killer. But then you have the whodunit slasher films. And in those slasher films, a very important plotline of the film is trying to discover the identity of the killer. That's a whodunit slasher film. And Eli Roth chooses to make a whodunit structure of his slasher film. And I think Roth actually did that to perfection, because I was constantly guessing who the killer of this film was, whose identity it is. And I was constantly guessing and my guesses were not correct, and I was actually surprised by the killer. And that makes this film a lot of fun to watch. It's something to You give the audience something extra, guessing who the killer could be. That's fun to do for the audience. And this is actually a very fun, bloody fun even, slasher film. It's not perfect. Like, the characters, they are not really the most interesting characters out there. They are not really have depth. They are very two-dimensional. Some are even stupid. They say stupid things. The writing could have easily been better. Also, the acting is not always that great. But honestly, I didn't mind it at all. I just loved this slasher film. It was awesome. And there are certain characters that were actually very cool, like our main character, Jessica. She's the supposedly final girl of the movie, and I say supposedly because it's not always necessary that the final girl survives the movie. So I'm not gonna tell you whether she survives the movie or not. But she's a very interesting character. She's actually the most likable character, and during the movie you really root for her, you really feel for her, you really want her to survive this movie. Another character that was really awesome was Scuba. But Scuba was just a very funny character. I don't know whether it was always intentional funny, but it worked. It was a very cool character, funny character, and certain scenes were actually hilarious in this movie. There were some couple of times that I actually had to laugh, so That's also a big plus. But the best character of this movie is actually the killer. I'm not going to spoil the identity of the killer, that will not be any fun anymore to watch the movie. But the look of the killer, dressed as a pilgrim, and the mask is that of John Carver. And John Carver was an important figure uh, about Thanksgiving, so that's the look of the killer, also with a hat. So it's a very iconic look, and I actually think that this killer could be an iconic slasher killer. Maybe not as the same level of Michael Myers or Freddy Krueger, but I really hope this killer gets more movies that the killer can shine in, because it can easily become an icon, and this movie should be a franchise with this killer, so I really hope for it. But the biggest selling point of this movie was actually the violence, the gore. Because Eli Roth, we know, he already made some very violent horror movies. We know that he can deliver in violence and gore. And in this movie, he actually delivered in that. Because you have slasher films in which you have the kills happen off screen. You also have slasher films in which we actually see the kills, but they are PG-13 kills. But that's not the case with Thanksgiving. In Thanksgiving we have plenty of kills, and they are all R-rated, and we got to see the gore of the kills, because the kills are pretty gory actually, and that's what this movie makes awesome. That's also the reason why people are talking about the Thanksgiving movie. And there are some impressive kills in this movie. My favorite is a decapitation scene that happened in the movie, because that came completely out of nowhere and I was actually surprised by that kill. There's also a trampoline kill that was cool, but the negative on that kill is that it happens a bit too quick. Eli Roth cut it very quickly after each other, so it happens very quickly, and that's a bit of a shame. I wish to see that kill more longer actually. And also at the end of the movie, when we are closing to the third act, the remaining characters are all together at this Thanksgiving table. That was a cool sequence actually, and also a very brutal kill happened there. And one of the characters also got a very nasty kill. So the kills, the violence, the gore, it was actually top notch from Eli Roth, and that is what makes this movie so awesome. So in short, this is a very fun slasher film. I had an enjoyable time. I really loved watching this movie, and I hope we will have more Thanksgiving movies in the future. I really hope so. So yeah, I can definitely recommend this slasher film. It's a cool slasher film, and maybe even the best horror movie of this year. Maybe, we shall see at the end of the year, but definitely recommend it. So guys, these were my thoughts on the movie Thanksgiving. Always be free to give your thoughts on the movie below in the comments. Would love to read those. And if you want to see more reviews of me in the future, always be free to subscribe to my channel. Until the next time.